There is a lot of hype going around this particular perfume, Riffs Fareed, and internet is saying that this is by far one of the best clone of YSL Nuit De L'Homme out there. So I'm just continuing my buy or skip series where previously I reviewed the Axe signature perfume set. There are like 4 perfumes. Today I'm doing one individual perfume buy or skip. In the future, either I will take a house and do a review if it's a tester kit, or I will take individual perfumes and do the buy or skip, because that way I get to talk a bit more in depth about what to buy, what not to buy, and if in case you're buying, why you should buy or why you should not buy. Okay. Now, the reason of making this particular video is because I did my own keyword research and I came to know that Riffs Fareed is basically trending as of now. There are like 9,900 searches a month on this particular perfume, and I wanted to take the first mover advantage in a way. So I contacted Whiff Culture, and this is where I need to give a shout out, a huge shout out to Whiff Culture, because they provided me this perfume at such a discounted rate, which I am not able to disclose over here. But there's a good news. Although this perfume is available at 3,500 across most of the popular websites, Whiff Culture somehow is selling it at a 40% discount flat rate. So if you just go ahead, add the perfume to the cart, go to the checkout, automatically a 40% reduction in the pricing is going to be there, making the effective price of this perfume around 2,000 to 2,040 rupees. And today in this video, I am going to judge this perfume based on a perfume pricing of 2,000 for a 100 ml bottle, because as and when I was ordering it from Whiff Culture, that was basically the effective price that you would have got if you would have purchased it. So in this video, I'm going to tell you whether you should buy this perfume, whether you should skip this perfume, and in both the cases, why? And also I'm going to compare it with the OG and tell you what are the key differences, if there is any. Is internet lying to you, or is internet actually saying you the truth? Okay, so let's go with the scent profile first. But before I talk about Riffs Fareed, I do need to tell you what the OG YSL Nuit De L'Homme smells like. Okay, so Nuit De L'Homme is one of those perfumes that Chandrima, my wife, loves on me. She says that that is one of the best cardamom based fragrance out there on a man, and it smells very sexy and seductive, and I do agree on that. The only problem with Nuit De L'Homme, by the way, shout out to Sentira as well. They helped me get the OG. This was the gift from Lovish Sentira, who basically gave it to me as a gift. And thank you so much, Lovish, for helping me with the OG Nuit De L'Homme. Okay. Credit must be given where it's due. Okay. That's the motto of Scent Saga. Now, moving forward, YSL Nuit De L'Homme has got one major problem. Although the smell profile is like crazy good, seductive, sexy, the performance sucks. Projection 30 to 40 minutes, soft projection. Longevity around 3 to 4 hours, and after that it kind of fades away. So every 3 to 4 hours you need to top it up. This perfume sells for around 6,000, 6,500, and during the discounts at around 5,500 as well. However, even at that particular pricing, if it lasts 3 to 4 hours and you're topping it up, it's an expensive shit. Riffs Fareed, effective price I'm saying is like 2,000 rupees per 100 ml, which is around 3 times cheaper than this. So in terms of the value, there is a sheer difference, price to performance and everything. But what about the smell profile? To a layman, what does the Nuit De L'Homme smell like? Okay, so Nuit De L'Homme, to a layman, if in case I have to explain the smell, this would smell like an expensive high-end shaving cream mixed with the note of freshly crushed green cardamom pods. It's a very sexy, seductive perfume. Works evening setup the best, and it doesn't matter if it's the winter or the summers or anything, it just works. It's like awesome. Now, Fareed on the other hand is not a slouch either. This captures the essence of Nuit De L'Homme to an extent where this can be said as a clone to YSL Nuit De L'Homme. That is for sure. Is it like the best, like head-to-head 1:1 clone of the OG Nuit De L'Homme? I would say no. Riffs did a very interesting tweak over here, which basically solves the problem of performance when it comes to Nuit De L'Homme. I'm going to talk about it in a second, but let me talk about the overall scent profile. What is the key differences? In case of YSL's Nuit De L'Homme, in the opening it has got only cardamom, okay? But in case of Fareed, they have added a hint of pepper. So the opening is a tad bit more spicy, which is pretty evident. Although the blend quality is really good, there is no such alcoholic blast, and if in case you want to nitpick, you can, and you can say that there is, but I didn't feel that way. It feels very super well blended in my honest opinion. And if in case you still want to nitpick, I would say let it settle for like 3 seconds to 5 seconds. There won't be any alcoholic blast, that is for sure. At least in my case, the perfume that I have received do not have any alcoholic blast. Okay, the opening is a tad bit more spicy when I compare it with Nuit De L'Homme, the OG, head to head. When the perfume starts going into the dry down, there is some key differences here as well. In case of Riiffs Fareed, they have added a bit of geranium, or you can say some floral notes, which adds a hint or touch of floral elements into the mix in the dry down, which is very nuanced. But if you take your nose and smell it like this, you will be able to understand that floral hint is over there. Also, the quality of lavender that you get with YSL Nuit De L'Homme, or also the quality of cardamom that you get with YSL Nuit De L'Homme is a tad bit more higher quality, but it's something that you can only perceive when you compare them head to head. On its own, it's not a bad quality at all. It feels very refined and rich, but only when you place it side by side with YSL Nuit De L'Homme, you will understand there is a difference in the quality, and this is a bit more premium when it comes to the quality of the ingredients used, and that should be right. Now, in terms of the base, this is where the tweaking or that interesting aspect was added by Riffs to make the perfume last a bit more longer. What they did was they added a base note which was a bit more heavy. They added tonka bean at the base, which made the perfume a tad bit more sweeter, but also resulted in the perfume to last longer. Also, the blend quality is top notch over here because the tonka at the base doesn't really overpower the entire smell profile. It's there, but it does not make the smell different or sway away from the Nuit De L'Homme DNA to some extent, where we will say that this is a twist or inspired version. They kind of make it smell like YSL Nuit De L'Homme, but then they added those nuanced differences, which kind of adds that layer of better projection. So how much does this affect the overall performance? Okay, this one would last or project 30 to 40 minutes, as I said, in a soft way. This one would project around 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes, but in a moderate way. For the first 40 minutes, this projects moderately while this projects soft. For the next 30 minutes, it's going to project soft, but still that 30 to 40 minutes is plus add-on when I compare it with this one. So around 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes of very good projection, decent projection coming from Riiffs Fareed. The overall longevity of this perfume is around 5.5 to 6 hours when applied on the clothes. This, on the other hand, is 4 hours. So you get around 2 hours more longevity when applied on the clothes in case of Riiffs Fareed. So these are the areas where I think this solves the purpose of the longevity, as well as makes the perfume DNA such that it does mimic the DNA of YSL Nuit De L'Homme to an extent where this can be said as a good clone. Now, we already did a clone war previously where we had the winner, which was Albeit Al-Damashqi's Nuit De L'Homme clone. So is it better than Albeit Al-Damashqi? My answer is yes. Because in the opening, if you remember, or you can reference the Clone War video as well, the opening of Albeit was not close to YSL Nuit De L'Homme. This, on the other hand, captures the opening almost, I won't say identical. There is a note of pepper over here, but it does capture it in such a way that you will feel that, okay, this does smell like Nuit De L'Homme. That perfume also kind of projected stronger and lasted more than YSL Nuit De L'Homme. This does the same. Now for me, I would say that this is a much better blend than Albeit Al-Damashqi's YSL Nuit De L'Homme clone, because that had some rough edges. This one does not. So in terms of the overall smell profile, longevity, everything, Riiffs Fareed has done a really good job, that is for sure. But let me now share with you the reasons to buy this and the reason to skip this. Okay. So reason number 1, you should buy this perfume if in case you are okay smelling a slight little twist on the DNA of YSL Nuit De L'Homme. Reason number 2 to buy this perfume is the sheer value for money that you get with this particular perfume. If in case you are buying it at a 40% discount, you're basically getting around 3 times cheaper. At that particular pricing, is going to be a bang for your buck. That is for sure. What if this perfume is not getting the discount and you're getting at the effective price of 34 or 3500 rupees? In that case, I would say skip it. Because at that particular pricing, this particular perfume, Fareed, will be around 1.75 times cheaper than the OG. Now, at that particular pricing, I don't think it makes any sense. But if in case you're getting Riffs Fareed at around 2000, 2500, just grab the perfume. It's really damn good. Reason number 3 to buy this perfume is performance. If in case you like the DNA of YSL La Nuit De L'Homme, but the performance kind of suck and that makes you frustrated, get a Fareed, you will be more than happy. Now, one reason not to buy this perfume, and I think it's a major one, is if in case you are somebody who loves brand. Because in that case, the brand value that YSL has over Riffs is much higher. If in case you can save money and you have this justification that rather than buying a clone for like 2500 or 3000, I would rather save that money and get the OG itself, then you should actually go ahead, wait for that particular, money to accumulate, and then go and get the OG, YSL La Nuit De L'Homme. However, if in case you feel that I am a smart buyer, I really don't care about the brand, I just want a perfume which smells good, smells like YSL La Nuit De L'Homme, and rather I would save that money and I will utilize it somewhere else, then buying a Riffs Fareed will make YSL La Nuit De L'Homme kind of redundant, in my honest opinion. If in case you get that Albeit Aldam Mashki as well, still it would have made this particular perfume redundant, but this makes the redundancy a bit more stronger because here the opening, the dry down, the blend quality, everything is much better than Albeit Aldam Mashki's La Nuit De L'Homme. Lastly, what I want to say is both of these, although are identical, there are some twists and some inspirations that has been added over here to enhance the performance. And although internet is going gaga over the fact that this is the twin and kind of like identical to YSL La Nuit De L'Homme, it's not. It's a very good inspiration at around 80-85% into the DNA of YSL La Nuit De L'Homme. And I think this is my belief that only a very few hand-picked clones are out there which kind of smells almost identical to the OG. 99.9% of the times, the clone will still smell like a clone. And although this is a very good inspiration, this is still an inspiration and it's not a head-to-head clone, but a very good inspiration on the DNA of YSL La Nuit De L'Homme. So much so, I can say that this kind of makes the OG redundant if in case you're not a brand fanatic. So that was kind of my review for Riffs Fareed. If in case you have any queries or concerns about this particular perfume, do let me know into the comment section, or you can connect with me via Instagram, which is Saga Online, and I will try my best to answer all your queries as soon as possible. With that, thank you to Whiff Culture again, and I'm going to end this video and I'm going to see you on the next one very soon. Bye-bye.